appeals. How a vote at Monday's City Council meeting could raise more questions than answers.
Plus,
they've been through a horrible, horrible situation, and to send them our seconds is inappropriate.
local organizations are doing what they can to help communities rebuild from Hurricane Helene.
And in sports, it's Friday night in Southeast Ohio, and football teams across the area are gearing up to hit the gridiron. We take a look at the key matchups from across the 740. Newswatch starts right now. Breaking news at this hour, a portion of Union Street in Athens is back open after a car flipped over, blocking the road.
This is a live look at the corner of Union and High Street where the wreck happened. Emergency crews responded to the scene at around 5:15 p.m. Crews say the driver was turning off High Street when the car flipped, hitting a parked car nearby.
The car slid about 5 to 7 feet after it initially flipped. The driver of the vehicle has been taken to the hospital. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Imwali.
And I'm Allison Patton. It's been getting a little warmer outside just in time for the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. And for more, we're going to send it over to our forecaster, Lexi Bopalsi. Lexi, how's it looking outside right now?
Good evening, Athens. Currently here it is 66 degrees with clear skies and winds from our east about 3 miles per hour right now. And our barometer is sitting pretty at 30.48 inches of mercury. That is a sign of really high pressure right now. We can see that really well with our national weather in the past 24 hours. Nothing really going on outside of that. High pressure all throughout. And if you really want to cut the U.S., kind of like right here, everything from here back basically cloudless, other than southern Florida, and that's because of this high pressure system that's bringing us our clear, beautiful skies. Today we had sunny skies with a high of 68 and a low tonight of 37. Because of that high pressure, we are going to be a little bit colder tonight. That 37 with clear skies, which is going to get perfect for some stargazing if you don't mind getting a little cold. And tomorrow's sunrise at 7:41 a.m. We'll take it back to Allison and Alex.
Athens City Council and City Administration clash on reappointments to the city's Board of Zoning Appeals.
Now, according to City Code, the mayor needs the council's approval for new appointments to boards and commissions he oversees, but it's silent on whether the mayor needs approval for appointments. Law Director Lisa Eliason recommended the mayor seek approval for the reappointments to the BZA based on precedent. Mayor Steve Patterson disagreed with that opinion and instead went ahead and swore in both candidates to a new 3-year term.
Some council members are upset with the move, calling it autocratic. If the council has not approved either reappointment, it is unclear what that means for the status of those board members. One local organization is helping with Hurricane Helene efforts. Little Wing Thrift Store and Curiosity Shop is collecting and donating necessary items to send to communities impacted by last month's hurricane. Organizers say people affected by the storm can use all the help that they can get.
I just encourage people to dig deeply into their heart and continue to do whatever they can, financially, donating items, anything at all to help these people.
People can drop off supplies in boxes located around town, including on East State Street at the mall and the Tractor Supply Company. Clothing can be dropped off at Little Wing's storefront on East State Street.
Water service on State Route 691, Kimberly Road, between the Hockhocking-Adena Bikeway to Wolf Bennett Road will be shut off starting on Tuesday at 9 a.m. The Nelsonville Water Department says this is so crews can replace a fire hydrant. They say water service will likely be back at around 3 p.m. and a boil order will be in effect in the area till noon on Thursday. And state agencies are concerned with new numbers showing childhood poverty on the rise in Ohio. The 2024 State of Poverty in Ohio report shows 13.4% of Ohioans live in poverty. That's the same number cited in the previous year's report. That includes nearly 18% of kids, nearly a third more than the overall rate. The report also found the food insecurity rate for kids in Ohio is more than 22% higher than the overall rate. Agencies are asking state lawmakers to work on legislation to help low-income families in Ohio, not just maxing tax cuts. And it's a busy day for Michigan for the presidential campaigns. And with the election less than 3 weeks away, recent polling shows there is no clear leader in the battleground state. Julia Benbrook has more as Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump work to appeal to voters.
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are locked in a tight race for Michigan's 15 electoral votes.
We got to win this election.
Both candidates are focusing in on this crucial battleground state Friday. Harris has appearances in Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Oakland County.
She has to make sure that she talks about what she's going to do for her term in 4 years, what she's going to continue to do in terms of focusing on economic growth for everyone.
In recent days, the vice president has aggressively targeted Trump's rhetoric on the trail.
The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted with his gaslighting.
Trump is participating in a roundtable in Auburn Hills in Oakland County and a rally in Detroit.
I think his message is, under Republican policies, you'll do better, and under Democratic policies, you got decline. It's a pretty simple message, and that's really his message for a lot of urban areas in the country.
It's the former president's first trip back to the Motor City since he insulted it during an event last week.
The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
Back in 2016, Trump won Michigan, helping him secure the White House. But President Joe Biden won the state in 2020. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The federal Hocking School District is getting rid of a graduation requirement that's been in place for more than 25 years. The school board voted on Tuesday to make the 100-hour senior project optional for students. It was a graduation requirement since the 90s. Now students who are juniors or below can opt out of it. District leaders say the decision stems from results of a survey of parents, students, and teachers. Ohio is getting federal money to help children improve their reading and writing skills. The state was awarded a $60 million comprehensive literacy state development grant. The money will help teachers provide effective literacy instruction. Schools of all levels and childhood education programs across Ohio will be able to apply for funding. A new government report suggests millions of Americans are worried about affording a minimum credit card payment. Emily Schmidt has more on why concerns are higher than normal and what to do about it.
It was April 2020 when Donald Trump was president. Joe Biden got Barack Obama's endorsement, and we social distanced when more than 14% of credit card users last worried they wouldn't be able to make a monthly payment. This week, a survey said people feel that way again.
A lot of people are relying on credit to make ends meet.
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York data found the average perceived probability of missing a minimum payment in the next 3 months increased to 14.2%, the highest it's been in years. Those most concerned, people ages 40 to 60, and those making more than 6 figures a year.
More people are carrying more debt for longer periods of time, and that's a real drag on their personal finances.
Last year, 82% of Americans had at least one credit card. Their average debt was about $6,500. Bankrate industry analyst Ted Rossman says you need to speak up if you can't make a minimum payment.
Maybe they're willing to work with you in terms of rearranging your due date or giving you permission to pay less or nothing at all for a time.
Another option, nonprofit credit counseling agencies.
They can often negotiate something like a 7 or 8% interest rate over 4 or 5 years. That sure beats the average credit card rate, which is over 20%.
The key, Rossman says, act early. Negative payments could stay on your record for up to 7 years, potentially sticking with you even longer than your debt. For Consumer Watch, I'm Emily Schmidt.
It's a common disorder that doctors say is never too late to get diagnosed. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is a developmental disorder that affects people's ability to focus. People with ADHD may have trouble remembering things, keeping track of items, staying on task, and managing time. While most people with the disorder are diagnosed in childhood, experts say getting a diagnosis can make people's adult lives easier.
We're thinking about a pattern of symptoms that have been consistent throughout your life that significantly impact your functioning.
ADHD is diagnosed differently in adults than in children. For those who suspect they have symptoms, experts recommend talking to your doctor about an initial screening. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland unveiled its new exhibit for this year's inductees. Museum curators giving visitors a chance to connect with the artist through their personal and most beloved items, and educate them on artists people may be unfamiliar with. Cher, Mary J. Blige, Ozzy Osbourne, Cool, and the gang tops this year's inductee class. Curators say this class is the most diverse they have seen ever.
It really shows how diverse rock and roll is. It's not just, you know, 4 white guys with guitars. It's blues, it's country, it's R&B, it's all of these things. It's all the same spirit of rock and roll.
This year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be held tomorrow night at Rocket Field Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland.
Judges at the Circleville Pumpkin Show crowned this year's largest pumpkin in Ohio. For the 3rd year in a row, Bob and Joe Liggett have grown the largest pumpkin in the state. The Liggetts took the top spot with this giant pumpkin you can see on your screen now. The massive pumpkin weighed in at 2,226 pounds. This pumpkin came just short of the state record, which is 2,388 pounds. That record was set by the Liggetts at last year's pumpkin show.
And coming up, conference titles are on the line here in Udioto and all across Southeast Ohio. We'll have more game previews coming your way soon, so stay tuned.
And Taylor Swift is set to start the last leg of the Eras Tour tonight, but high ticket prices could hit concert goers hard in the wallet.
And we've had beautiful fall weather this past week. Are we going to continue to see that going into our weekend, though? We'll find out more when Newswatch returns.
On iconic America.
It's like something out of a dream. Dropped right in the middle of the city.
This was our holy grail. You had to come here.
And I just go like that, and the ball would go all the way over the Green Monster.
The Red Sox were the last team in baseball to integrate.
Because the Red Sox didn't want to integrate. The history of the game is right here.
This is my favorite place on earth.
This is Fenway Park. This stays.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
We've been having a practice round every day and prepping for states.
I'm feeling ecstatic, bro.
I go into competition mode and I really lock in.
Mario has been MIA for about a month.
I'm defending human rights, I'm defending abortion, I'm defending the rights of immigrants.
I'm glad to be in his group, but we kind of butt heads.
I think we have what it takes to win this thing.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
America was founded on a revolutionary ideal.
To me, freedom of religion is everything.
Toleration is insufficient. We need equal liberty.
Concern about religious liberty is as old as America itself.
What happens when those freedoms are taken away from us?
This is the story of the greatest experiment in religious liberty the world has ever seen.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
Good evening, Athens. Currently here it is 66 degrees with clear skies and winds from our east about 3 miles per hour. And our barometer is still sitting pretty at that 30.48 inches of mercury. So pretty high pressure today. And across the board, Zanesville, you're at 68. Newark, you're at 68. New Philadelphia, you're at 68. And Lancaster, you're at 66. Basically, all throughout Southeast Ohio, we're currently seeing those upper 60s right now. It's absolutely beautiful fall weather if you're someone who loves the fall. But we are still currently sitting in that D4 exceptional drought. And unfortunately, with that high pressure that's sitting over us right now, we're not really going to be seeing much relief for that drought going into this weekend, which is really unfortunate since it is pumpkin season. But that didn't really seem to affect the Liggetts this year. But like I said earlier, not really any cloud cover in the eastern United States. If you really just want to cut like right here, east of here, other than southern Florida, no cloud cover, and that's because of this high pressure system just kind of hanging out around us And, you know, this cold front here is really acting more like a boundary between more moist air as well as our dry air here, which it's bringing us some beautiful conditions and so a little bit of a warm up this weekend. But
for full breakdowns,
it's still not going to be really helping us in that drought, unfortunately. But today we had sunny skies with a high of 68, and with high pressure comes clear skies and colder conditions overnight with that low of 37. Tonight we can have that low of 37 with those beautiful clear skies. Make sure you get out and stargaze tonight. And with that high pressure, we're going to have clear skies all weekend as well. So I heard there's going to be the possibility to see a meteor shower late in the night, Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you go out and see that if you truly want to. It might be a little chilly, maybe bring a jacket, but overall it's going to make for beautiful stargazing conditions. And tomorrow's sunrise being at 7:41 a.m. Tomorrow, like I said, sunny skies, clear weather. It's a high of 73 and a low of 37. Now, we're going to hear this word a million times now. High pressure tomorrow, going into tomorrow night, as well as Sunday. So we're really going to be seeing really dry weather, sunny weather, but unfortunately, like I said, it's not going to be really helping with that drought at all. Now, going into this weekend, we do have Saturday and Sunday in the low 70s. But I know those overnight lows a little chillier. But if you go out and see that meteor shower, you'll bring a jacket, have a good time. And we're still going to be seeing these fall-like temperatures going into next week with Monday and Tuesday. With Monday and Tuesday being about 75 degrees as well as Wednesday. But we'll bring it back to the desk.
There you go. That's great. And it's great to see that the weather is getting a little bit better for these gridiron folks, these high school football players that are out there, because it is now the second to last week of high school football. And that means that conference games are also coming to an end.
Gridiron Glory host, digital host Donovan Varney joins us now live with more on what games. Donovan, what games should we be looking out for?
Yeah, guys, I'm here at Unioto High School, and if you guys can think back to last week, we mentioned some high-stake matchups, right? Well, this week is no different, okay? I'm here, like I said, at Unioto, home of the Shermans, and the Paint Valley Bearcats are here. They're both getting ready for one of the most intense conference title showdowns of the evening. But there are 4 other crucial conference games to talk about as well. The first one is Waterford and Trimble. The Wildcats are currently undefeated in the conference, while the Tomcats have 1 loss. A Trimble win tonight would pave the way for a 3-way share of the Hawking title. For the Tomcats to have an edge tonight, they'll need to step up defensively, and the Wildcats have numerous offensive weapons that have been causing trouble for opponents throughout the season. Now, in the TSL, it's a pretty similar story. Point Pleasant and Marietta are both playing to win at least a share of that title. A win from Point tonight would make them 2-0 and the sole leader of the TSL, while a Tigers win would tie the two at the top with 1-1 records. Point runs the ball quite a bit while Marietta sticks to the passing game, so both Point and the Tigers will have to step up defensively if they want to make their title dreams a reality. Now, the next matchup to keep an eye out for is Tri-Valley at Sheridan. The Scotties and the Generals are historic rivals and have been playing for the last 58 years. And since 2017, the MVL Conference title has been controlled by the two. Last year, Sheridan lost this matchup, and now they'll be looking for revenge. Currently, Tri-Valley is 8-0, so if the Generals want to stop their streak and have a shot at the MVL, they'll need to rely on their physicality. Our next game is another impactful rematch, Hamilton Township and Bloom Carroll. The Bulldogs lost this game last season, but this year they have the second best offense in school history. With guys like Ethan Thanthanavong and Rutch Hutchinson, the Bulldogs will be able to do a lot with their offense to get things going. The Rangers will really need to step up on defense if they want to stop Bloom Carroll in their tracks tonight. And last but not least is our Gridiron Glory Game of the Week, the Paint Valley Bearcats and the Unioto Shermans. The Shermans are currently first in the SVC, but a Bearcat win would create a 3-way tie going into the final week of the regular season. We'll see a little bit of everything tonight, from air attack to ground game, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. Now remember, for full breakdowns of all these games, conference standings, and so much more, make sure to tune in to Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. I'm Donovan Varney, live at Unioto.
Thanks, Donovan. In more Ohio football news, the Cleveland Browns announced plans to move their stadium off of Lake Erie and outside of downtown Cleveland. The Browns will call Brook Park their new home as early as 2028. A letter from Browns owners Dee and Jimmy Haslam says the team considered many possibilities both in and outside of Cleveland, including making renovations to the current Lakefront Stadium. But they believe this new stadium will bring more jobs to the area along with more year-round events. Next, artists take their shows on the road across the U.S. this fall, but ticket prices could have an impact on whether or not you can see your favorites.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait.
Back in the game, bringing the thunder, I'm making waves.
People will be watching your every move. I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for more? Just getting started, locked on the target. Are you ready for more?
No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be. Troubles, honey, like you wouldn't believe. Hop in. Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
That is beautiful.
So much anticipation.
My heart's beating.
This is a breakthrough moment, and it won't be the last.
The silverback is there to protect every single member of his family.
These ice worlds are so unexpected and surprising.
They were ambushed and shot in the back. This was quite a discovery for us.
Wednesday on WOUB.
Coral reefs. They are one of the most endangered habitats on Earth when it comes to climate change. But help is on the way. I'm Dr. M. Sanjan. Join us as we find ways to preserve our changing planet.
We have the building blocks to rebuild that reef.
To see science in action, absolutely amazing.
Fans paid tribute to the singer with music, candles, and sharing their One Direction stories. Liam Payne passed away this weekend. And Payne died after falling from the third floor of a Buenos Aires hotel on Wednesday. The One Direction star was only 31 years old. The hotel staff called 911 just before he fell, some saying he was unruly, but nothing is official. Authorities are investigating the circumstances of Payne's death, and fans are devastated.
I was old for be a fan, but I love them. I love him. I will do always. Nothing. I can believe it. I can believe it. He was my bias, my favorite, and I can't believe he's gone.
But fans aren't the only people grieving from his death. Payne's former One Direction bandmates have posted on social media about losing their brother.
The end of an era. Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour starts its last leg today. There are only 5 more stops left, starting with Miami and ending in Vancouver. The tour has come a long way since its beginning in March 2023. She has re-released several albums and launched a new one, The Tortured Poets Department. To bring Swifties closure, Swift is releasing a 256-page tour book, along with CD and vinyl editions of her new album on Black Friday, only at Target. And Swift's ticket prices have skyrocketed since the beginning of the Eras Tour, tickets at times selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Maribel Gonzalez tells us what could be driving these high prices.
Lynn Habis-Reitinger is a self-proclaimed Swiftie.
Since 2006, when Debut came out.
And a determined one. Last year, she traveled from Orlando to Atlanta to try to catch a Taylor Swift show without a ticket secured.
The tickets in Atlanta were going for resale was probably like $500.
Lynn couldn't afford that. Instead, she listened from outside the venue. Now she's seeing her ticketless saga begin again. Tickets for this weekend's Era Tours shows in Miami going for hundreds of dollars on resale sites, some as much as thousands.
I love Taylor so much and I want to be there so badly, but that is such a huge financial burden.
What is driving these sky-high prices? Professor Andrew Mall from Northeastern University says it starts with demand.
We're in this situation because there aren't enough Taylor Swifts, right? This is a market of scarcity at work.
Bots and technology now making it easier for scalpers to purchase lots of tickets at once, but fans are now also reselling tickets as an investment.
There is a way in which we're being asked, what is the value of this experience, especially knowing that we can resell it for a lot of money.
Last month, Coldplay fans in India shocked to find tickets for the band's Music of the Spheres tour being resold for as much as $11,000. The aftermarket prices frustrating buyers around the world.
It's just really heart-wrenching. They go on and buy those tickets up so that they can resell them. They're not fans of them at all.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Still ahead, a once-in-a-lifetime comet flying over Ohio tonight. How you can see it, coming up next.
This year, Gridiron is back and better than ever with our 25th season. I'm your host, Haley Hollinger.
And I'm your digital host, Donovan Varney. Throughout the week, make sure to tune into our Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube for game preview segments on the pregame huddle. If you still can't get enough high school football, check out our Instagram and TikTok for more weekly content.
And of course, we'll see you right here every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. because there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future. This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
The nation's largest immersive arts and light festival is happening right now across Cincinnati in northern Kentucky. Blink runs through Sunday, and each night begins at 7 p.m., stretching over 30 city blocks.
A feature of this year's installation is a 100-foot-long array of laser lights stretching along Cincinnati's riverfront. The laser lights stretch all the way from Covington Landing to Kentucky to Sawyer Point in Cincinnati. And you might want to take a look at the sky tonight because a once-in-a-lifetime comet is flying through. The Oort comet is making its way across the U.S. before it disappears for another 80,000 years. Peak visibility happened about a week ago, but the comet will be visible for another couple days. Observers suggest going outside as soon as it's completely dark and choosing a dark spot away from lights. The comet isn't coming our way, observers say. It's likely to be flowing out of the solar system. And that does it for our show tonight. Have a great night.
Thank you so much for watching.